We have a problem.
Yeah, we do.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 264 of The Established Facts. It's been a bit. I hope you all enjoyed our little break there playing some Mario Kart with the kiddos. I am Josh, and first we'll get into some details. As I'm sure you noticed from our intro, we're going to be talking about some problems that at least the wife and I are dealing with. But starting with my left...
This is Dr. Deb, who also is dealing with problems.
I'm Avital.
And then over in our tech booth...
I'm Lance.
He'll be the disembodied voice for this episode. So we were in a situation where scheduling's hard. For those of you who don't know, scheduling podcasting,
Time
playing games,
thing.
it's hard. So this is who was available, and Deb and I were having a conversation, and I was helping my dad out with some stuff today, and I asked her, please come up with a topic for today. So, Dr. Deb, what is today's topic?
Today's topic is an inspiring tale called To Keep or Not to Keep. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in mind to suffer the slings and arrows of the teasing of our very dear friends about all of our games, or by exposing to end them.
This is still a family show. Just be careful with that. Did you memorize that?
That's one of my favorite lines from Hamlet. So
you've had it memorized and you just made fun of it for our episode.
It was applicable
That's
to this
fair.
episode. So you're welcome. That is your literature for the day. So you can now check that off your box.
So for the last couple of years, you guys have seen our wonderful background here. This full of IKEA Kallax shelves and their games from Kickstarter and Amazon and local game stores galore, many of which have either not been opened or never played. I will admit, I have a problem. I like Kickstarter. I like to support you little up-and-comers, or some of you big ones who charge entirely too much for your games. They end up on my shelves, and I'm not exactly sure why. Sometimes they have to go the way of the dodo. Anyways, we wanted to take an opportunity and grab a couple of games, and Avital was going to join us today as well, so we wanted to make sure that we got her opinion on what reasons she has to keep a game around. And this can apply to computer games. I know we're doing a lot of board games as well, but frankly, we're desperate.
Yes, we are. And so,
So this game here actually is one of the ones that we've been talking about for a while, and I think we're going to actually try playing this one. It is called Desperation. It is done by Jason Morningstar. It's actually called Desperation, Dead House, and the Isabel.
Yeah, there's two separate games inside it, both of the Desperation series. Dead House is one game, and then the Isabel is another one.
So Jason Morningstar is one of the authors of Fiasco, which you've seen on this podcast at least a couple of times. So we're a fan of his work in general, and he tends to make a really good improv game, though this one apparently is sad and about how we're all going to die. But I thought it'd be funny on the episode nonetheless. But the biggest reason we decided to keep it, as we were talking through things, was it fits the personality of our game group.
Yes. And as you imagine that and go, oh dear Lord, yes, actually it totally does.
You're laughing, but you know it's true.
No, you're just like, our gaming group is depressed.
We all have mental issues.
No, we're desperate. We're not depressed. We're desperate. So the point of both of these, because I've actually read the rules. Hi, how you doing? He has not. The story of Dead House is a improvised story of the long winter. If any of you know that story from Laura Ingalls Wilder, that winter really was the worst winter recorded in United States history, where snow lasted, 7 to 8 months of the year.
That's long.
It was very long. So Dead House is you are in a town in Kansas, and you are all trying to survive, and some lot of you don't. The Isabel is based upon a wreck. I don't remember the exact year. I believe it's also mid-1800s. The Isabel was a ship, and there had been a terrible wreck, and once again, most of the people didn't survive. There were a few survivors that managed to hold on to, wreckage of the ship. So you either are trying to avoid dying in a shipwreck, or you're trying to avoid having winter kill you. And so both of those very cheery topics. And you have locations, you have people. And when I first I'm sorry, I'm terrible. When I first looked at this, I literally thought, this is fantastic because all of us don't have to hold back our macabre slash seeing the humor in terrible situations skill set that we have, because this will work. If you're looking for a unicorn, hearts, rainbows, flowers, this is not the podcast or the game for you. But
Yeah, but this is also just based off our description. We've not played it yet.
No, that's a description. I really want to play it because I really enjoy Fiasco, and we've had way too many good times. So we want to play it. So this is going to stay, and hopefully actually get played sometime on the
So
podcast.
you're laughing at us.
So I was just, I'm still laughing because of the kind of quotes that Deb made when she said Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas, if it's even real.
It's a state, I promise. It's been in 50. I don't know how long it's been here, but at least a couple hundred years closely.
I'm pretty sure Kansas is where Laura Ingalls is during that. I'm ashamed that I don't remember exactly, but I know she's in the middle of the Midwest.
I don't know.
Because they moved several times during her books.
Well,
So I
it was a
believe
long
Kansas.
winter. It's kind of hard to remember everything.
It was long and it was cold, and yes. So yeah, the rumors are that there's a place called Kansas, and you're there in Dead House. So the Dead House is where they stack the bodies. Yeah. That's what that stands
That's how
for.
we're starting.
Because the ground is too cold. The ground is frozen. You can't bury them.
So third party opinions here. Is this a game that you would see yourself keeping, Avital?
It's not a game that I see myself buying.
It's totally fair.
Like, not that
She
I'm,
doesn't have
you
the
know.
problems I have.
Or that we have.
So it's really a little bit difficult to say.
That's fair. If you wouldn't buy it, obviously you wouldn't keep it. What about our disembodied voice?
I'm full of gallows humor, so that's a game right up my alley.
I feel like if we can make it happen, we might do a single shot play so we can get Lance involved, because I kind of want him on this game. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
with that said, since we are desperate, I'm going to grab. So we have taken a collection of games down.
Yeah, we whittled it down a little bit.
Some that we're pretty sure we're going to get rid of, some that we're pretty sure we're going to keep, and we're going to discuss it, and we're going to get opinions from the crowd and see if we're, crazy for keeping them, which we're, according to Avital, we're crazy for being desperate. So that is what it is. I'm going to grab the first game. That's all right. I'm going to grab the first one. So this first game here is Extraordinary Adventures Pirates by Glenn Drover and Don Beyer of Forbidden Games. I can tell you that the reason we purchased this was it looked nice on the table at Gen Con, and one of our friends was working the booth and highly recommended it, and here it sits sealed in its glory.
Okay.
It is a racing game.
How long ago did you get that game?
2 Gen Cons.
2 Gen Cons ago.
So
We don't
not
use
last
years
year.
anymore. It's just Gen
It's 2
Cons.
Gen Cons, because it was bought at Gen Con. I remember that. It's apparently a 60-minute playtime with 2 to 6 players, with a 2 out of 5 puzzle pieces complexity and 3 out of 5 chess rooks strategy. That's how they piece for ages 8
3
and up.
out of 5 chess.
So as of this moment, I don't expect us to get it, but I keep it. But I also didn't realize it was 8 and up.
Oh Lord, you want to try to set our kids on this game?
I don't know.
Oh Lord.
Maybe.
I don't remember how old your children are.
I have a 7 and 10-year-old.
10 and 7. So yeah. I mean, I seeing as I don't remember anything about it, like completely, I don't. Like I didn't prep before this to be like, oh, here's how the game works.
I
Yeah,
want real
no.
reactions.
I mean, play cards from your deck. Yes, now I'm reading the box. I absolutely am. Play cards from your deck
That's
to
what
move
got
your
me
ships.
to buy this one.
It is true. On 3 tracks through the Caribbean. Well, also I like Fiasco. Plunder juicy merchant ships.
Juicy? Never mind.
Yep. Take their cargo and add new crew cards to build your deck. Visit ports to sell your cargo for treasures and recruit even better crew cards with special powers. Like what, do you gain like Cyclops powers or, kind of Ruby Phoenix?
Let's see. Sailmaker. +2 on any track where you begin your turn in last place. We need more sail, lads. Master Gunner. Ships that loot a merchant may also move on the same turn. Fire she bears, boys, etc.
I do like
There's some humor in it.
sailing.
Looks like it.
Sailing Master's Mate. I mean, that's, yeah. So I do agree. It looks Yes, I think if I had actually had a chance to play it, I might be able to give a better vote. So complexity is 2 out of 5, strategy is 3 out of 5 difficulty. So the challenge I see is that we don't know the game, so we will be teaching ourselves and our children at the same time unless we play it first.
That's valid. On the same note, I have this feeling that it could work well with our friends, the Dawsons, too.
Oh, okay. So is this going to go in the donation pile?
This might sit in a, I thought we were going to get rid of it, but we might consider it for another group of friends. We'll see how that works.
I didn't know we were going to have options here. I thought it was yes or no. Apparently there's also a maybe and gray area.
Well, because some of these are going to be clear no's and clear yeses.
Yes.
So,
accurate. Okay.
Why don't you grab one of yours?
Oh, okay. Well, I am...
Does this look like a game you would be interested in, Avital? Pirate
I
Racing?
don't buy a lot of games, but if somebody wanted to play it, I think I would probably play it.
Lance?
I like pirates.
Okay.
Keeping down to the one-liners.
Yep,
and
yep,
these,
yep.
it's going to be very creative this week.
I can tell.
Wrath of the Fire Mountain by Game Right Games.
Wrath of Fire.
10 plus age, 2 to 4 players, 30 minutes apparently. And it appears to have that kind of Forbidden Island victory point style collect cards. This again, you dominate the land before Wrath of the Fire Mountain destroys your plans. In this prehistoric strategy game, you'll roll dice to choose your actions and then move your cave people to try and dominate areas of the board. Will you choose to move more cave people onto the board, hatch dinosaurs to aid you, or try and control the volcano and move the board? Your choices will determine the fate of your tribe. I will be honest, we won that in a raffle.
That was the BillCon raffle, right?
Yes.
Yes. So neither one of us have ever played it. I mean, we were thrilled. You know, you like to win a raffle, right? But I don't.
Right.
I don't dislike Forbidden Island or Forbidden. There's several of the Forbidden series.
Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert,
There-
Forbidden Mountain
Sea
or something like
or is
that.
it Mountain? Yeah. So I don't dislike those games, but I also am not an enormous fan of them. Meaning I don't seek out those style games because I love them. It's more I'll play it, but it's not a big. It's not really high on my list of yes, let's play this. There are games behind me that I will just get out and play, and I'll play some of these by myself. I love them so much. It's 2 to 4, which at least it plays 2 people. Because if it's 3 or more, that can be even harder, right? But so I'm gonna say send it on its way.
Yeah, I think it needs another home.
I think it does too. Do we? We shouldn't give it back to BillCon to put in another raffle, should we?
I don't know.
That would be awkward.
No, so it's an interesting.
Lance agrees that it should definitely go back
That'd
to
be fun,
BillCon.
right?
I'm just laughing. It says includes 16 fierce dinosaur minis.
Oh yes,
Fierce?
fierce.
The minis are fierce,
They are.
guys.
Fierce takes on such a different
Fierce.
definition
It
nowadays.
is. And 44 cave people. Just cave people. We just
16 to 44?
16
people
fierce
stand a chance.
I know. That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
44 to 1, maybe. 16 to 44.
16 to 44. 16 dinos and 44 people who live in caves. So yeah. So I think this needs to find a new home. We could either try to sell it, or we could ask if our friends want it. Hi friends. Anybody out there want this? Because
We do have a few people that listen from somewhere else in the world, at least somewhere else.
somewhereelse.com.
I don't know. I'm not shipping anything unless you're paying for
Hi,
it.
somewhere else. If you want to reach out to us, you are more than welcome to this game
Let
because
somebody come out and we find out this is like an epic relic and it's like $300. I don't know.
Our camera's that one.
I know.
That's yours.
Are we
That one's
here?
the full shot.
Okay.
Which I think mostly
Hi.
on the personal shots. Anyways.
You're just getting focused?
No. I said
Figuring out whose eyeballs I'm looking into.
yeah. Most.
Okay.
I think at this point it's mostly that
Here.
one over there.
Okay. So somewhere is there, and nearly everybody else is over there. Cool.
When you want to have more personal chat, you
Exactly.
go to this one.
Hi somewhere. So I'm on my microphone and I don't even care. So if anyone would like that one, let us know because.
I'll have some.
Or let us know if it's worth $300.
Go to the Facebook page and put a comment.
Okay.
See, well, with
Your
Witcher
turn.
2, so far some of the reasons we keep are if they're 2-player because we can play them as a couple.
Correct.
If they get around the age group for our kids.
Yeah, because they're
Or
starting
if
to
they
learn how to play harder
fit the
games.
humor and kind of general enjoyment of our group of friends. Before I grab the next game, what's a reason you might keep a game around as you're taking a drink?
Good timing.
A reason I would keep a game.
That's correct.
If I've like actually played it ever before.
That's great
We don't
logic.
have as
That's
many
amazing
games
logic.
as you do. Obviously, that would be difficult.
It's difficult for us.
Game full of
Thus, we have problems. But yeah,
We're working on it.
But the ones we do have still just don't get played very often, just because.
You guys are role players. That's your significant, like role play and PC games, right? And where you land.
For me, more than board games, but it's also difficult to find the time, especially with my work schedule being so different from Jason's work schedule.
yep. We have a similar work schedule, and we have trouble still finding time to do this because of life.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have
children yet.
We do have, yes, children, and well, no, I mean, and life, right? Because
Yes,
we've got
I
our
know,
classes, and we've got church, and we've got meetings, and we've got blah blah blah. So, so sometimes we'll literally put it on the calendar of play a board game, and we will like give our time so that we have to show up for the event that we scheduled on the calendar to actually play the game, or so we tell ourselves.
Like, that's what I would have to do, just because if I want to do something after 6, which is when Jason gets off of work, like, I'm probably going to need to take a nap earlier in the day, because I work, I get off work at 9 a.m.
Exactly, right. So
It does kind of need to be scheduled in advance, even if it's not on the calendar, even though it probably should be, otherwise we'll forget.
ditto.
Going on life.
Oh, ditto.
But
Yeah.
planning is required.
What about Lance? What's the reason you keep a game around?
I got two. One is replayability. So if it's going to be the same game over and over again, we're never going to play that game again.
Right.
And number two is it has to be a minimum of 2 players, because sometimes the boy and I will want to play a game. Sometimes the girl and I want to play a game. Sometimes the wife and I want to play a game. So we can play a game, and then the other 2 in our household can sometimes also join us. So at bare minimum, 2 players, it's up to 4, and then if we have people over, we'll play the bigger audience games.
Precisely. We agree.
All right. Let's
Your
see.
turn.
So this next one, this one I picked up because of a recent completion of Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, which, by the way, if you're looking for a good PC game or console game or whatever, game was released starting, I think, in 2012. And they had 3 great games, 2 and 3 being much better, but the first one is essential. If you buy the Legendary Edition, you can play all 3 of them. All your choices matter all the way across the board. It's good stuff. But Modiphius Games, Modiphius Entertainment, got the license for Mass Effect. So this is Mass Effect, the board game. Priority Hagala. It's a game by Eric Lang and Calvin Wong Se-Lun with the EA and BioWare sponsorship. 4 players, 45 to 90 minutes, ages 14 and up.
Hold on, am I reading this right? 1 to 4?
Yes.
1 to
1 to
4.
4.
So this you could play by yourself.
It does have a solo mode on
It has
it.
a solo mode, which is very interesting. It's older, it's 14 and older, so there's going to be a good amount of complexity in this one.
So I purchased it because while I was playing the game, I think I've told this story a little bit, but as I was playing the game, so a little bit of story lore, not major spoiler type stuff, but I will say some spoiler to it, but we're dealing with a game that's been out over a decade.
I think
Mm,
we're
it's kind of
allowed.
on you.
I think we're allowed.
During the first game, they introduce a character, a Quarian. It's an alien race in the Mass Galaxy by the name of Tali.
She's there.
Yes,
That's her right
Tali
there.
Zora. Yes.
she's there.
But she was not one of the love interests. If you've ever played any of the BioWare games, they have a thing about, like, your main character has the choice of multiple love interests regarding, your gender preference or sexuality preference or whatever.
Race
they kind
and-
of give you that option.
Yeah.
And if you're into the aliens, it's another way you can go. But Tali was not a love interest in the first game. Well, there was quite the fan kind of uproaring that I found out later about. She ultimately became a love interest in the second game.
Who's Tali?
She's wearing the hood.
Quarian.
She's wearing the hood and the mask.
I see.
She
So-
cannot be out and about. You don't see her face because she has to live in a controlled environment, except in very rare situations.
So I played through the first game. I selected
Ashley.
Ashley, the human. I was just doing the human thing because that's what I was doing. And she similar faith, whatever. First game, that's how it works. So here's the spoiler. You die in the first game. But you are brought back to life by Cerberus in the second game, but it takes like 2 years for you to be completely back. Well, when you're playing through the early parts after you're back and you're working for Cerberus or whatever, Ashley finds out and is angry at you because you did not communicate to her that you were alive. That, to me, was ridiculous. So I was done with Ashley at this point.
Well, let's clarify. This scene happened when I happened to be in the room.
That was the other thing.
And I was watching this scene, and I was like, let me get this straight. This was your girl, because this was your girl from 1, right? Yeah. She's mad at you for being back from the dead.
Yes.
Yes, she's mad at me. I'm like, oh, you got to dump her.
Yep.
And he's like,
I already did. Moved on.
I already did. I was like,
2.
good. I was like, because she doesn't deserve you. You need to just be done with that, okay? And then I stalk out of the
It
room.
was very funny. She had not been really invested in this game whatsoever up to
No.
this point, except she saw that.
She treated him like garbage, and I'm sorry. You were going to dump her really quick.
Yeah. So, moving on from there, I moved to Miranda, the other human character, who you find out has been like genetically altered to be the most beautiful thing in all of the galaxy, and blah blah blah, whatever. Like, interesting, very interesting character. Liked her story arc. But then there was a moment again. My wife stepped back in the room and said, "You know what? I'm gonna sit down and watch you play." And I'm down in engineering.
Making sure he's not going to pick Ashley again.
And Tali starts flirting with my character. And I legitimately had to pause and put the remote control down and go, is she a love interest in the second game? Because she was not in the first one. And Deb, of course, is like, I don't know. I haven't really paid that much attention to it. So the interactions continue. And I only start to realize that Tali is an awful lot like a wife. Very loyal, kind of a smart aleck. Big fan of Shepard. And so it was like, well, she's going to be a love interest. I have to let Miranda go before it becomes super serious. But because early game development, Shepard was not exactly the most, it didn't have the most finesse when it came to breaking up with Miranda. It was just like, nope, I don't think we should do this anymore. And just kind of leaves.
It was very abrupt. Yes.
Okay. And
Awkward.
From there on, it turns into kind of a love interest for 2, but then in 3 in particular, it really kind of, she has to take some time away to help the fleet, and then you get back together, and whatever. Long and short of it, though, is because of that interaction and my wife seeing this and was like, agreement. She now basically watched almost all of Mass Effect 3 just to see what happens with this Tali story.
I want to see what's going on with this story, because I was fine with this. I was like, yes, yes, you're absolutely. I'm fine with him. His character
I
having a
got
relationship.
judged
with Tali.
playing a game that's older than our relationship.
Right. Almost older than, yeah, it's true.
So, as a result, when Modiphius sent out an email to press or whatever, that they had gotten the license and were going to put this board game out, I knew I had to pre-order it. So you can definitely go pre-order it through Modiphius. They also have a lot of additional miniatures, and there's some expansions and stuff. I haven't done that yet because I wanted to actually play the game and see what we thought about it.
Play the base game.
So this is one of those games. Another reason why we keep games is memory. It triggers a fun memory for us, and which we haven't opened it yet, but we are going to play this. We are going to play this.
Okay.
We've got
All
to
right.
finish Tales of the Red Dragon.
Goals
and
are
the-
important,
The
yes.
Harry Potter Battle for Hogwarts again, but we're going to play this game.
Yes. Yeah. No.
So
I am interested in playing it. I like Modiphius's games. I think I've played at least 1 or 2 of their other games before, and I know the Mass Effect story, so like I have enough knowledge that I'm like, okay, yes, I think this would be good to play. We just have to focus our brains on a game for 45 to 90 minutes, and it's going to be fairly complex, so we'll just have to be ready for that, because 14 and up is... But still, I think they do a good game, and it looks beautiful on the box, so...
it looks like you're
yeah.
completing a lot of quests. Not
It
quests,
does.
but like stories
Missions.
and missions, and you're
Yeah.
fighting bad guys, and there's a bunch of dice and cards. And absolutely looking forward to trying that one. That was, we were pretty confident on that.
Yep.
We have one other game here that I'm pretty sure not only we're going to keep, but we're pretty sure this is going to make it onto the podcast table as well.
Yep. This is another one, blame BillCon, because we played this one This was, the BuildCon that I went to this
we
last
had
one.
like 8
Yeah.
players, like we had a full table.
Yeah. So the downside, it was a downside. 3 to 8. So this doesn't play 2. You need to have at least 3. 3 to 8, 20 to 60 minutes, and sorry, glare is a
I
thing.
think it's 10 plus.
14. Hold on, it says 14 and
14
up.
plus, yeah.
I don't know if I quite agree with that. I think that maybe a 12. I think 12-year-old could probably play it. Didn't
Probably
we have a
could.
12-year-old at the table?
It depends on how creative the 12-year-old is.
That's
but yeah.
that's probably true. So guess the role, grab the glory is what it says up there.
Okay.
So
It's an adventuring game. So they've got
It
to
is.
present a story to you, like a scenario, and you are each playing one of the fantasy not fantasy races, but fantasy classes, wizards, fighters, rogues, literals, blah, blah, blah. And then what you're going to do is you got a little, like, almost everybody's got their own little DM screen, and you roll a die and it comes up with a result. But first you describe what it is you're going to try to do.
Okay.
Then you roll the die, and then you explain what actually happened. And then everybody else using their die has to guess what your number is. And if you get it right, you gain certain loot and whatnot to help you get stuff and make you stronger as you work your way towards the main bad guy. Am I getting that correct?
yeah, you're pretty close. The GM reads the card aloud of here's what's happening in your adventure. The adventurer chooses an item card and announces how that character plans to use the item in the challenge. So the barbarian is going to charge and smash the dragon in the face with her hammer of smashiness. Okay, well
That's
then
literally the name of an item.
it's
I
a hammer of
see, yes.
smashiness. The adventurer then rolls their d20 in secret, and based on how well or how poorly they rolled, actually describes with detail so that the GM, the guess master, can guess their roll as close as possible. So 20 is a stunning success, 10's barely a success, 9, you just missed it, and then 1 is a total failure. So this person describes, I charge, but before I can swing, the dragon flicks me across the room, I land on my face, and am now unconscious on the floor. And then the GM guessed, oh, that's got to be a 1. And then your answer is, well, actually, it's a 3. I still have my arms attached, right? And this is how the game goes. So descriptions, painting the picture is very great, which actually is similar, but that escalated quickly. Which is a similar idea, but has a different, which is another one we need to play on the podcast. That one, hilarity has ensued every single time we played that game. That's another one.
Well, and that's kind of comes down to, I think, our final reason for why we tend to keep a lot of these games is,
Right.
I know we're not regular when it comes to how we get these podcasts out, but we continue to put them out, and we meet people at conventions who like to see us and what we're doing. And I know specifically for, Lance, our disembodied voice, that he has been a fan of us doing our factor plays, our actual plays, and sitting down and playing games. A game like Adventure Party, which I believe, Lance, your family owns as well, correct?
I'm the one that introduced it to you at BuildCon.
There it is.
Yes, there it is. Thank you. I was going to say, was it you or was it I couldn't remember who. I remember who was at the table, and I was like, was it you or Don that did it? But it was Lance.
So at his recommendation and the experience we had, we have a copy of it. We also believe that this would do well on this podcast. As she mentioned, that escalated quickly. We've done the Tales of the Rag Dragon Inn. We're going to, on episode 265, check out Desperation. At least this smaller group, because I think it'll do better with a smaller group than with the bigger group versus
Yeah.
this is a full group type thing.
Yep.
So for those of you that are watching, we'd love to know, or do you enjoy our actual plays? Do you enjoy our discussion topics? Like, we're trying to gear the established facts for whatever future that turns out to be. And I know that Don and Katie would agree with this as well. And Jason, I know Jason loves the role-playing stuff, but he's also Mr. Discussion. Like, he will talk about anything if you give him the chance. So with that said, we have a problem.
And I think it's going to be more than one episode of our problems that our dear the 3 people that are watching us may need to watch us work through, because this is 4 and there were more than 20, 25 lamps.
Yeah, if you saw the stack at the intro, that pretty much
Yeah.
all of those were either unopened or not been played very often.
Yeah.
That said, the Ghostbusters board games was in that stack. Highly recommend those if you like Zombicide but don't necessarily like all the dying.
Right. Yeah.
'cause
Zombicide lighter.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same there, which is it's good stuff.
Those games got us through COVID.
It's
Yeah.
so true. And you can play them when you're in two different houses.
As long
if
as you
wonder.
both have the game.
Right. You both own the game.
If you
have
don't
a
both
camera.
have the game, you can still do it. It's just a little more work on the people who do have
You
it.
have to describe. You're like, no, it's the one 2 steps up from that one. Yeah, that one. And then you're going to move it 2 spaces to the. It's fun.
The truth is it's the same amount of work. Because we would just no move it that way. Oh, okay, cool. And then they would move theirs, so everybody saw the same thing. It was a lot of fun. It was when we weren't playing Diablo.
That's how you play a game with your friends who live in another continent. You can do it.
Yes, as long as they have the game.
Or don't, and then just have a really
That's
good
fair.
camera.
So,
really good game.
unlike Don, I didn't come prepped because I didn't know he wasn't going to be here until earlier. So I don't know our last one, but I do think I have an established fact for today.
Oh, do you?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
I want to make sure, I want to explain, because I just call it, if you're interested in this, Adventure Party, you can still go and buy it. It is by Smirk and Dagger Games. It is, what else?
Smirk and Dagger and Winsmith Games.
Oh, and Winsmith, yes.
Winsmith.
Win and then Smith. Just smush it all together and you get that. Yep. And as I said, you should be able to search. I'm sure this is available if you Google it or whatever.
And we're not
else, but-
sponsored. This is just
No.
legitimately our own purchases.
Yeah, no, we own these. And it's a 2024, so it should, and it's printed by Boda Board Games. So you should be able to find it if it sounds very interesting. It was, yeah. If you like more interaction, more than just a flat roll, and here's the roll, and you win, you lose. You know, Pathfinder 2E, right? You know, you roll it, you add it up, you win, you beat it, you didn't beat it, moving on. No, this lets that description come out of, you know, how did you kill it? Oh, but you can get really descriptive of how did you lose, right? Or how did you just barely lose? Or, so I think that's one thing I love, which is the other reason I love that escalated quickly.
I think that if I played this game, I would not want to be the guest master. Like,
We only have to be at
absolute-
once because it rotates.
It sounds
can let it
awful
skip
to me. Like having to try and guess. Like I'm bad at guessing, like people's ages and like I'm like no.
See, that puts it, that escalated quickly is another one of those that where you guess. I'll explain those at another time.
Yeah.
But
We gotta
think
bring that one out.
The thing about that, I think you would have a lot of fun with it on the podcast because you could like tell us, I'm a terrible guesser. Like, okay, so we either got to make it very clear or just be ready to lose the point. Which
Okay, you know, I
I think
appreciate the
there's
honesty.
humor in that. So,
There is.
The dragon smashed me up against a wall, and I lost most of my hit points. In fact, I was at a 10, and now I'm feeling 7 less than that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, if you could get, you know, if you're feeling healthy from a 1 to a 10, where are you feeling right now? Oh, yeah.
You're not supposed to use the numbers, folks.
I mean, you could just say 3/4, or is that numbers? I guess that's
Those
still
are
numbers.
Still numbers.
I'll
I
come up with
think
something.
like, you know, I've taken a few hits, but I'm doing all right. Like,
Yeah, we get
it's, it's easy. I don't think it's that hard. I mean, you know.
We get it. It's understandable. Anyways, so go check out 264. Oh, this is 264. Go check out
I mean,
263.
check this out too. If you
Yes,
haven't
please.
seen the whole thing, just
Yeah,
rewind
if
it.
you just picked it up right now,
For some reason.
For some reason,
if you had to skip an entire ad, which I'd apologize for, but I don't control that.
Yeah, we have
That's
no power
Google.
over it.
It's their fault.
yeah.
Check out 263. We had fun playing Mario Kart. I think we had an established fact at the end of it, and if we didn't, I'm sorry.
I have no memory of that.
But for episode
Maggie won. That's what I do remember.
Yes. Well, yes. For episode 264, we have a problem, and you're the solution.
Oh, you're putting all the pressure on someone.
I mean, yeah.
No, that's someone, and that's everybody else.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure.
everybody
That's
else
okay.
is
You
the
know
answer.
what? We have a problem, and you are the solution. You are the solution. And you are the solution. You feel better now? They're all the solution.
Everyone except us, apparently.
Yeah, because I'm not
Yeah.
taking responsibility. Where am I? Anyways, thank you all for joining us. And how does Don say it? We'll catch you later.
We'll check you later.
Check you later. That's it.
I think we check you later.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Deuces.